Hello, everyone.
There's a countdown that starts just so everybody knows. So, like when we're recording, it goes 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And anyway, that's why we're laughing. Hello and welcome to Midnight Mug.
Yeah. Session 2.
Episode 2. Number
Yeah.
2. Okay, what's your mug tonight, Hannah?
My mug has a special drink inside of it that is good for you. And it's cranberry juice again.
Do you have cranberry juice every night before you go to bed?
No, but sometimes I do. It's good for you.
I have a surprise for you. Are you ready?
Yes.
It's the same mug. Why are you not reacting to this?
Because it's gross.
Gross? Why is your face not more excited?
I'm sorry. No. It ruined the moment. I'm so sorry. You want to show me again? And I'll pretend.
Yes, ready? 1, 2,
Okay.
3.
It froze again. Oh.
I have the same mug as you.
Mugs.
Same mug. Do you want to know what's in my mug?
Yes.
It's not cranberry juice.
What is it? Is it old lady probiotic tea again?
It's M&M's. It's emotional support candy.
I didn't know we could put candy in our mugs. I didn't know that was an option.
I'm sorry. You need to be a little more of a rule breaker. That's why I'm here.
I'm going to put chips in mine next time.
Nobody said it had to be something to drink.
Mug of
So
chips.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Not mugs. I have a husband who said you need M&M's today. So we bought you back.
Funny. That's true love right there. True love.
That's true love. Okay, before we hop into tonight's Midnight Mugs conversation, we have some sponsors to thank again. Yet again. Are you ready?
Thank you to our sponsors. Yes.
Yeah, so tonight's sponsor. This is how you can tell you're a real comedian when you laugh at yourself. So, okay, tonight's sponsor, Tears. Whether from chopping onions or the depths of your soul, they're here to cleanse and hydrate. So, thank you, Tears. Thank you, Tears, for all your support to bring us this far.
Thank you, Tears. Yes.
Yes. Also, thank you to Humble Pie Bakery. Freshly baked daily, served cold or hot, depending on how you need to learn your lesson. So, thank you, Humble Pie Bakery. I've eaten a few slices as of late.
Absolutely. So many slices. Sometimes your kids give them to you. Sometimes just life gives it to you.
What can I say? I know. And finally, our third and final sponsor is Busted Sandals. Thank you, Busted Sandals, for when you're walking the narrow road and comfort is optional. So thanks for that. Thank you, Busted Sandals. Have a few pairs. So thanks to our sponsors.
Literally have a busted tennis shoe that I found this morning.
Do you wear it still?
I was like, oh, busted out the side of that thing. That's fine.
Well, I mean,
here we are.
Hard to throw away a shoe.
Yeah.
What can I say?
They still work. So
I know. So Hannah, I am so excited about today's conversation because we're going to talk about something that's been like on your heart. I want to hear all the things. And I don't know. Let's just see where we go.
Okay. That sounds good. All right. So something that God's been working in my heart on, you may hear paper. I have my journal here because I had talked about it or written about it, is secret pride in our hearts that sometimes we think is something else, but it's actually just pride. And I'm kind of speaking to it from a place of like, been a Christian a long time, raised in the church. I know, I've been in it a long time. I know the stuff. And so, I feel like the longer that you are a Christian, the easier it is to look at others' sin and not your own, because you get kind of in a rut. So pride is something that that God has been working on in my heart. And honestly, the way I could tell something was off is that even at church or like reading my Bible or anything like that, I never felt conviction. I never felt, and I don't mean that in like bashing over my head way, but even just like I didn't feel off. I felt like I was fine because I was doing what I thought was fine. And so, something that I heard my pastor say a few weeks ago. So he's the one that actually was saying, the longer that you're a Christian, the easier it is to look down on people who sin differently than you do in order to make ourselves feel more self-righteous. I was like, ugh. But how many times do we look for righteousness in ourselves? Knowing to do all the right things. Like I knew to do the right things. I felt like I was fine. But the way that I figured out really where I was off, the beginning of realizing something was off was that honestly, my relationship with Jesus was kind of secondary, and my relationship with God was secondary. I mean, one and the same, but it wasn't the priority for me. It wasn't, my heart wasn't soft and loving towards others. It was easily irritated. It was frustrated. It was like, if you just did it the way that I think you should do things, with people, of like, well, why don't you just do it this way? Like, I can tell you the way that you should do your life. And that's, there was no grace. There wasn't any empathy. And I think God just has begun to show that in me. And so, I know that's maybe not the case for everybody, because like my husband's heart is very soft for people, and he cares a lot about people, and God is working on my heart, and I want to be more like that, but I've just realized that pride is like a sneaky poison that's so for example, this morning I was thinking, there's always something that drives our heart. Something's always driving it. We want it to be God, but sometimes it's fear. Sometimes it's pain. Sometimes it's pride. And I think pride is one of the easiest things that, maybe we're thinking we're letting God do it, but then, or maybe to protect ourselves from pain. I mean, I know you've mentioned that before, of it protecting you, kind of like pride kind of being a protector thing.
Totally. Kind of like a blanket, really, right?
Yeah.
So like if I keep everything to myself, like if I keep it all together, and if I make sure that no one thinks I have needs, right? Or that no one thinks that I have wants, or I have hurts, or that I have opinions that might ruffle feathers or anything. Like if I just kind of keep it all to myself and like all together, and I paint this kind of image of who I want people to think of me as, I think that's totally a oh my gosh, a symptom of pride.
Yes.
Right? That I just keep seeing like a blanket. I'll just wrap myself up in this. But what we don't understand is that when that's happening, we're actually creating an environment of loneliness for ourselves, because you can't actually be in relationship, right? Okay, so another example is my daughter, who's 8, right? We're in like timeout land right now with 8, 5, and 2.5. That's just where we live. And so sometimes that's like timeout on the steps. And so she was in timeout at one point, and I came over, because I always come over to talk to them at the end. And she's sitting there literally like this, like duck face and all. And I said, okay, wipe the look off your face. And she's like trying to make it better. Okay. So finally, we were there forever. And finally I was like, okay, look, I said, until you are able to come to terms with and just admit that you made a mistake, we can't go forward. Like there's no way for us to talk. There's no way for us to move forward. And I said, I'm your mom. I love you. I want nothing but good things for you. Nothing but good things. But you've got to let me in to help you. And the only way you can let me in is to take that down, which I think is totally an image of pride, and say like, okay, I don't have it all together. Like I did something I wasn't supposed to do, and I knew it, And I think sometimes pride protects us because we're afraid of what will happen if we admit that, right? If we admit our mistakes, our errors in judgment, it's like, oh my gosh, but will you still love me? Will you still accept me? Will you still embrace me and bring me home? So yeah, I just think it can manifest in so many different ways. So many different ways.
That is so good. Just the thought of, and I think that is a lot of it for me, of like a protective thing of like, I've had pain in my life. I've had several extremely painful things that we've walked through, even from like childhood. And I think just kind of innately, I try to protect myself from more pain. But it is isolating, and I can't find salvation in myself. I can't find peace in myself. I can't love others well in myself. Like, I can't. Like, God's softening my heart right now towards others is allowing me to see them like he sees them and how he loves them. And maybe they're not like me. And maybe they don't think like me. And maybe they are the way that they are because of the things they've walked through. And they can't help that. Like, and to see them through those eyes instead of like in frustration of like, why are you this way? Or why is this person hard to deal with? And, yeah, I do think that it is definitely a protective mechanism for sure. And I'm thankful. One thing that I'm thankful for is like, I know that God sees us in our pain, and I know that God sees us when we're lonely and like when others have hurt us and during loss. But I'm thankful that in my pride, God has seen me and has worked in my heart. And it made me think of the Pharisees in the Bible because he didn't ignore them. He didn't like just be like, whatever, you guys are just wrong and I'm not dealing with you. Like, he tried to teach them. He tried to transform their hearts. Now, they chose to not let their hearts be transformed, but it's like he cares about us even when we're prideful idiots. So,
And see, I think something about like having kids will just like wreck you in the best way anyway. Oh
yep.
yeah. Right. And there are certain things and aspects of God, because I've got like a lot of hurt and a lot of baggage just around like church and my own kind of ideas of faith and things, right? That I've been kind of working through for a long time, and you know all about that. But I think there are certain things, because of things that I've experienced in my life, that I just couldn't hear in a traditional sense. Like, I can't go into a church and be like, oh yes, I've heard all about the love of a father and I've accepted that and that just makes sense to me, right? It doesn't rationally compute, I think, based on like the experiences that you've had.
Yep.
But what I will say is, when you have kids and that script is like reversed, right? So you think, like you were just saying, I'm so grateful he sees this in our pride. And then I think of that through the lens of a parent, and it's like, but how could he not see you in your pride? How could he not see you in every aspect? Like, I look at my kids and you ache with like love for them in all the different facets, right? They do something adorable and you like want to tell everybody, and no one else cares about this word that your child has said, but you're like, can I show you a video? I'll show you 10 repeating videos of this word that they said. It's the best thing that's ever happened, right? But then the same thing is true. It's like, I ache when my kids storm off and are angry and are rebellious and are looking me right in the face and saying, I'm not going to do anything of what you told me to do. And I know it's wrong and I know it's going to hurt you, and I'm going to do it anyway, right to you. That doesn't make me despise them. It does sometimes make me angry because I want what's best for them, right? And I want them to have lives that are full of goodness and fullness and joy. And I want them to have relationships. And if they behave in that way, they won't have those things.
Yes.
Right.
Yes,
so I feel
it
like
hurts your heart.
that perspective has like wrecked me from this very rigid, black and white thinking of like, God's here. God says, do good, you do bad, you are punished for bad. Like it's a very childish perspective of God, really. Like, because the complexities of that relational aspect, which is what you're talking about, is, I mean, my goodness, you think of it through that lens, and I just feel like it changes the entire game.
It's so true. It is so true. And it's really adjusted my perspective on what God really cares about. And like,
Yeah.
even this morning I was praying and I was like, God, I was praying about work. I'm like, God, please give me ideas. Please give me like ideas that help others, ideas that like help, for the good of things. And I'm like, just show me what you want me to do. Like, you just show me who you want me to be, what you want me to do. And I just felt this gentle, like, I want you to love others well. I want you to love them. I'm like, okay, I can do that. So
That's where you just go, oh, I
know.
see. And I see, to me, and I will say, just because this has been an issue for me, to me, that's like the difference between like feeling like almost a prick in yourself of like, ooh, like I see like an area in my life that I just want to clean up versus like the voice of shame. And that's
Mm,
where I lived for a lot of my life, is like the voice
mm-hmm.
of shame. And I used to hear people talk about like pride, right? And it would just
Yeah.
instantly crumble into this like just
Yeah.
waterfall of shame, and you're not good enough, and you always have so much arrogance, and you think you're better than everybody else, right? And it's like, but
Yeah.
see, that isn't loving, right?
Yeah.
That isn't helpful. That isn't loving. And I think that like that voice, I think God's voice is always that lovingly leading you into something better.
Mm, yeah.
And there's kindness in it. And that it helps me to be able to recognize that and filter through it. Okay, so
Yeah.
I got to read you something, because I sent this to you yesterday, but I feel like it's so relevant here because it's so hilarious, but
It is
also
good.
relevant. Okay, so my husband sent this to me, and it was, I think, somebody's like tweet or something, and it says, man, parenting really is a crash course in theology. You have someone made in your image who you love so desperately you can hardly stand it, but half the time they're convinced you're trying to make them miserable when everything you're doing is actually for their ultimate good.
Yep.
If you
Yep.
just listen to me.
Yes, I love you. I'm trying to love you.
Right?
Yep. Yes. Also, I just want to say, for all you fans out there, I'm sorry if you hear my cat in the background. He's just yelling. So,
For all you 2 fans watching us, thanks, Mom.
all you
Hey.
fans out there, all you cat lovers out there, sorry about my cat screaming. He's yelling the sound of his people.
Wow. Okay. Well, I think key takeaways from today is that God is a loving God who meets us where we're at. 100% where we're at. If we're, it's like the story of like the sheep. The shepherd leaves the 99 to find the one.
Yeah.
And so if you're the one, God meets you as the one. But he doesn't neglect the 99 either.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And like, so he just meets us where we are, in our pride, in our shame, in our rejection, in our haughtiness,
Yeah.
in everything.
Yep.
And that's what's so beautiful, is like, I think sometimes that like, where can I go to, I think it's one of the Psalms, right? To like escape you. Neither height nor depth nor anything can separate me from the love of God. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of times, especially in maybe Christian circles, we look at that through the lens of like, oh, there's no place you can go that's too far. Right. But I think it's just God will meet us and bring us back in from those things that are
Yeah.
pride and arrogance and those types of things too, which we all have. No one
Yes.
gets out scot free from those things. We all wrestle with those things.
Yes, and I love that. And I know we are about to wrap up, but one quick thing
Yes.
is that I heard someone say that God knew what we would do. He knew the actions we would take. He knew the wrong things that we would do, and he loved us enough to, still knowing that, send his son Jesus to die on the cross for us, because he still wants relationship with us, even knowing the things that we will choose to do. And I'm like, that he loves us that much, and we mean that much to him, that he still did that. And he did that for you and you and you and you and you.
And you. And Judas. He
And
looked Judas in the eye and knew Judas was going to betray him.
yes.
And he would hang on the cross for Judas. And he looked to Judas in the eye and said, do what you have to do. And he died for him too.
Yes, he did.
Okay, Hannah, we got like 20 seconds. Pray us
Yes.
out, man.
Okay. All right. All right. God, thank you for my friend. Thank you for all of our listeners, several of you out there. Lord, I pray that they would be blessed by our conversation, that they would feel your love, that you would move in our hearts, in their hearts, and that we would just spread the good news of Jesus. In Jesus' name, amen.
Midnight Mugs.